Hello everybody, welcome to Senior Susie Stamps. Today's Sunday and it's Sunday with Susie and I'm glad you're here. I've had a good week this week and I hope you have too, and want to welcome everybody back this year. And today I want us to go through some calendars. You remember last fall I showed you this calendar. I'm a member of a calendar club. I started a couple of years ago. I'm kind of a newbie at it, but I really enjoy it. And this was the calendar pack that I had last year. Well, I got my calendars for this year, 2023, and I wanted to go through them with you because I promised you I would. But everybody makes one sheet. So, for example, the person that made the cover made one for everybody, and then I made January. This is the one that I made last year, and we put a little note on the back, which makes it kind of nice and personal for everybody. Here's February. Sometimes they stick a little bit. And March, be your own kind of beautiful. Isn't that sweet? And April. Ooh la la, that's pretty, isn't it? And then May. Looks like she's done a little sanding on top of that embossing there. Here's June. This is an interesting one. The sea wave comes up in acetate and it makes a really nice, interesting little wave there. Here's July. August. Wherever you go, take the scenic route. Be a rebel. Oh, here's September. I love those cutting dies. The distressed leaves from Tim Holtz. I made a couple projects with them last year that were really fun. This looks like this has a little gold ink over top of that embossing folder there. Isn't that pretty? October, Apple Farm. So classic for October. November. And then December. Isn't that pretty? This is on a shiny cardstock. So at any rate, I wanted to show you those today, and I want to show you how to make a keeper for them, because this year the person that made the cover didn't make a keeper. And I've been making some card keepers for gifting birthday cards this year, and the concept's the same. So let me show you the keeper that I'm going to make. I'm going to make it out of some yellow cardstock. I don't know what the color of this is. I'm sorry. I just pulled it out of the drawer. I thought it would kind of go with the sun there. I believe it was Karen Titus that I got the concept from. And this is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You'll need a scoreboard. And so let me drag mine out and we'll just kind of walk through this one just as an example. And I scored it at 5.5 right down the middle. And then I turned it and I scored it at 7 1/8 because these are 5 by 7. I wanted to give myself just a touch more room, so I scored it at 7 1/8 and 7 3/8. And then I took it off my scoreboard and marked a little mark 3.5 inches from the top before I took it off my scoreboard. There, and flipped it over and did the same here for my punch holes. Then I opened it up and bent my score lines down, folded it back, and trimmed my little tabs so they would fold up easier. Now, on this one, because it's going to have monthly use, I put some reinforcers on the back. Normally I would have done it in the same color cardstock, but I wanted you to be able to see how I did it very easily. The reason I put this little 1/4 inch extra score on the bottom was so that it would allow for the amount of stuff that we're going to put in it. Now I have some grosgrain ribbon, and what we're going to do is feed from the outside hole here, feed in and then back out. And I like to kind of turn it to where it's nice and flat that way, pulling through. And then we're going to feed back in and back out again. Now I'm going to glue the artwork for this. Let me pull just enough to make sure I got enough to tie it with. See, Cordelia's over there scratching on her scratching post. I don't know if you can hear that or not. I'm just going to trim this off right quick to get the roll of ribbon out of the way. And I'm going to take this piece of artwork and I'm going to use my ATG gun. I trimmed it down just a smidge, not much at all. And I'm going to add a little glue because this is going to have just a little bit of a bend in it. And so I'm going to add a little glue just to tighten it up just a little bit, because I don't want it to come loose mid-year and then have to fool with it again. So I'm going to put this on the front. There we go. And then I'll take 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put them in order later. These should slip behind the ribbon. And then they fold up like so. And you can tie a little knot or a little bow or whatever you want to tie in them then. And with that little reinforcer, you see, it won't tear the paper out. And with that little bit of a gusset on the bottom, there's plenty of room to hold that entire calendar year. Now, let me show you how I do one for card making. This is a couple of cards that I made recently. It has some paper towels, so they're a little thick. And then I have a third card here that I'm going to cut the front off of and use for the front of my card keeper, because I am going to give these to a girlfriend that I'm going to have coffee with next week. And so let's get started with that one. This one that I'm cutting right now is a 4x6 card base, and these are A2 size. And so I thought this one would make a nice card front. Now, let me show you how to do the keeper for cards. And it kind of depends a little bit on how thick you think your cards are going to be. Now, with these being A2 size, it needs to be about 6 inches. But you remember now, this little cover is going to be 4x6. So I'm going to make this 6 1/4 just to give myself plenty of room on this. And it doesn't matter if you make it 6 1/4 or 6 1/2 or whatever. It's going to go ahead and hold your cards for you. So I'm going to make this 6 1/4 all the way down. Now I'm going to turn this and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. Now I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch either side. So I'm going to score it at 5, 5 1/2, and 6. Okay? Then I'm going to turn it and put a little mark at 3 1/4 here. I'm going to flip it and do 3 1/4 here. I'm going to fold it in half. And do 3 1/4. Imagine that. And I'm going to do it on the outside here. There we go. And all that's going to do is mark my little holes. Now, I'm going to trim this just a touch down on the bottom. And what I'm going to do is to come on my score line. I'm taking the score line off here to that little corner right there. Can y'all see that? I've cut that spot there, and then I'm going to come over here and just back off a little bit to make a little wedge, and this will help your keeper. Didn't get quite enough there. This will help your keeper to hold your cards and not get in conflict with this little gusset that we just put in there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to take a little bit off. And if you want to be exact about that, before you take it off your scoreboard, you can make you a little tick mark like we did for these. So this is what that looks like now. And these will fold up, and keep your cards very nicely. We're going to fold it in half this way, and then fold it back so that you have a nice little gusset in the back side of that. You see, so now it looks like this with these flaps, okay? This is just a little different way of doing it than Karen did hers, because I have found that I put more cards in them usually than just one or two. And now I'm going to take my crocodile here and punch my holes for my ribbon. And I don't have to give myself too much leeway on that. Now I like to move my gusset out just a little bit there. And that little small bit of, that little tick mark that I put on really helps to get these in the right spot. So now I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to glue it to the front just like we did on the other one. This is a good way to use up some cards. You know, I'm always looking for a way to give people cards to send. And this just makes a nice little happy gift to take with me when I go for coffee. And I know that my friend will really appreciate it. I'm going to put a little glue on this one, same way we did the other one, because there's quite a bit of dimension on these cards with those paper towels glued up the way they are. And I'm going to put that kind of right in the middle of the front and space it evenly top to bottom. There we go. And I'm going to use that same yellow ribbon. And then I've got one more card keeper that I made several years ago that I want to show you because it uses a 12 by 12 piece of paper. But it's the same concept. So these are easy to make. They don't take any time at all. And they use pretty much just a full sheet of paper. And the ribbon goes in, out, and then you pull it and tie it in a bow, and so it keeps your little cards nice and neat. There we go. And you don't have to glue anything up, you don't have to do anything else, but just trim your little ribbon, fold your keepers up, put your cards in. And even though these are thick, see, with that little gusset in the back, then you got plenty of room. And then you can just tie your little bow off. Just like you tie your shoelace. And kind of even it up a little touch and trim it back. And that just makes a little sweet little carry gift, or you can make you a box to put it in. And there it is. Now let me show you one more. And this is one that I made several years ago when I had a booth that I sold some cards in, and it didn't sell, but I kept it because it's a great example of a card keeper. This one has note cards that have no dimension on them, and there's 3 on each side. See, it means so much to keep in touch. Hope today finds you feeling as loved as you really are. And then I pulled the sentiment off of here and put it there. Now on this one, I did my little trim. These are made just a little bit differently. These are 6 inches by 6 inches, and this is the part that's turned up, and it is 3 inches. So I took a 12 by 12 piece of paper and cut a 3-inch strip off the bottom of it, and I used that strip on a lot of them that I made as a band around the middle. Now this one doesn't have it because I've got this piece of paper towel on there. But so you can see, this one I did glue because this paper is a little lighter weight. I felt like it needed just a little bit of substance there. And it holds it holds 6 note cards and envelopes perfectly. And there you go. You don't need to fool with the ribbon if you don't want to. You don't have to put that little gusset in if you don't want to. They're easy and quick to make, and they make really, really nice little carriers for either keeping calendar blanks or for taking cards out as a gift. So I hope this has helped you with a little idea on how to use up a few of your cards. And if you have coordinating sets like this one, you can always take one of the cards and put it in the front, like I did that one. But I hope you all have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey, I wanted to show you some things that I found at the Dollar Tree. Some of you have Dollar Tree, some of you don't, but those that do, they've got some really pretty things out this spring. And so I got some to have in the studio. If you see something you like, let me know. Because I think they would make some really pretty cards. I got these sunflowers to go with this set here. But aren't these dragonflies pretty? I just thought they were gorgeous. And I thought they went so nicely with this set of flowers, as do this bunch of butterflies over here. So anyway, I was just breaking in. Another thing I found was some of these nice little magnets. The older magnets that I have are about twice that size, and they're kind of clunky and big. And I needed 2 more, so I found these, and they were at the Dollar Tree in either white or black, and they make hanging things on my Gramercy cart really super easy. So at any rate, just a quick little comment today on what I found, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.